Hello, doing video requests today. So this one is what social anxiety disorder is. So video request. Can you explain what social anxiety disorder is? I probably still have it, since every time I go to a public place I always feel dizzy when meeting strangers. Even if I try to eat healthy, those issues are still there. Interesting. Okay. This request is from Brian Dela Cruz, who gave me the request about a couple months ago. How to win the love triangle. So he's a kid who is in college, and he likes this girl, and she knows he likes her, but she knows this other guy likes her. So he told him, I guess she's telling him, like, whoever shows me the most affection is the one who gets me. So he's from a pretty open society. I'm surprised you would ask me that question about social anxiety disorder if you know a girl enough to, try to want you to hit on her like that. So you get nervous whenever you go out. And you get dizzy when you meet strangers. Okay, and so and you're saying that it's related to your anxiety, so you feel really anxious, nervous, which makes you feel dizzy. So there's some kind of insecurity that you have. I guess you want people to feel like you're doing them right. You want to feel like you're doing okay. So you must have, like, your parents probably made you feel guilty, not made you feel like totally confident. Tried to, like, set you straight by knocking you down, so you always felt like you weren't doing right. And so now when you go out in the world, you kind of like, maybe you have something to prove, like people expect less of you than you really, for some reason, than you think you're worth. So yeah, my advice to you is to, see, I haven't done any reading up on social anxiety disorder, but I saw one movie like 15 years ago when I was traveling with Sean Connery and some young kid. And Sean Connery is this old guy who's, I guess, a famous writer, and he's never been out of his apartment for like 10 years. He hasn't even been outside. And he befriended some kid somehow because he wanted him to help him with school, and he was tutoring him. And at first he was really grumpy, and then he made friends. And so the kid talked him to go out. And so they went out to like a baseball game, whatever. And Sean Connery was all freaked out because there's all these people, and he was just nervous. So I guess there's different kinds of anxiety. You could have anxiety from being around too many people and feeling claustrophobic. And that could make you feel dizzy, because if you're not used to that, if you're used to being in open spaces, you can run wherever you want. And if you're around certain people, you can't just leave. You have to be patient. You have to, like, bump and get around people and stuff, and that can make people feel nervous. But I don't think that's what you have. I think what you have, the claustrophobic part, that's the kind of problem that, like, a Sean Connery type person would have, who just hasn't been around people. You go to college, so you've been around people. You just have an insecurity issue. You're worried about what people think about you, which is kind of something that people can relate to and feel at college age. Through college age, you pretty much kind of think about it similarly as you do it in high school. It isn't until later, until maybe you're like 30 or above. By the time you're my age, 40, you can care less. Yeah, about kind of like what people think about you. Kind of like this defining yourself based on how people perceive you. You get nervous, and the nervousness causes you to feel dizzy. I've never heard of maybe getting nervous making you feel dizzy, but basically, I think what you should do is you should you should draw yourself in more. You should pay more attention to yourself and less attention to everybody. I'm sorry, you should pay more attention to everybody around you and less attention to yourself. Kind of pretend that you're invisible. Just go there and just watch people. You should practice making eye contact with people from across the room who you aren't even talking to. Just look at them. And then when they look at you, when they notice that you're looking at them, don't bring your eyes away. Stare them down. And practice doing that. And different people might react. I don't do that, but different people might react different ways. Some people might smile at you and then look away. That's what most people will do. And then that's kind of would make you feel like you own the room. You know what I mean? Like you can look at people and they look at you and then they look away. Or if they look at you and then they like get angry with you and scowl at you, they'll still look away and then they'll kind of identify themselves to you as a dick. But people don't do that like at parties. Somebody would do that like at a Subway in New York City or something. Or they could like, I want to know why you're looking at them and come up to you and ask you, and then you could be like, oh, I don't know, I was looking at you because I was spacing out. Why do you want to talk to me? Kind of become like pretend like you're invisible, but your attitude should be kind of like you're the center of the world. You're the center of the world, but you don't exist. Kind of like, that's kind of how a king acts. Treat yourself like a king. I was reading a book by Captain Cook, and he was traveling around the world. He was in this book in the 1700s, and like some dude from the island came onto his ship, and from what everybody told him, he was the chief. But the guy didn't say anything. He just sat on his ship and just sat there, and Captain Cook waved to him, tried to say stuff to him, tried to offer him stuff, and he wouldn't. He would just sit there like this, like he was a statue, completely ignoring him. And because the guy was probably, and he didn't know why he was doing that, but the guy was probably like, I'm the king, I'm the boss, I can do whatever I want, I'm just going to sit here and look around and experience what the energy here is. But it's not my responsibility to like act for you, because I'm the king, you know what I mean? So you need to have that kind of attitude. Like, you're the king, you don't have to act for them. You went there for yourself. You went to the party to entertain yourself, not to entertain other people. You went there to look at people, watch people, and then they look at you and you can stir people down. They can become angry at you, and then they can become angry at you, and then you can feel yourself like maybe you're feeling bad for making them feel angry with you. It's kind of like the conditioning your mother put into you. Oh, why did you stare at him? You weirded him out. Well, don't block that out. And just stare people down and don't say anything, and then just be there to be there, just to absorb information like you're invisible. But don't pay attention to yourself and your nervousness, because you obviously don't like feeling nervous and dizzy. You want to get that away. The best way to get that away is to not pay attention to it, and divert your attention to the outside world, other people around you, and just watch them. And start going to parties dressed really simply. Don't try to stand out. Don't put earrings on or anything like that. Just dress in like a t-shirt and shorts, and just go there and then just stand in the corner and just watch people, and let people approach you. It seems like you're always trying to approach people. In high school, there's like different kinds of personalities, and there's different kinds of ways different kinds of personalities are perceived. Sometimes the same personality can perceive differently by different people. And like there's the pleaser, the people pleaser, and maybe you're a people pleaser, like the guy running for the joke. Sometimes the guy going for the joke all the time is just a really helpful guy and wants to like make everybody happy. And sometimes people recognize him as that, but sometimes people recognize the guy going for the joke as having a low self-esteem and trying to make people happy so that they like him. And maybe some people who do go for the joke, or who do try to, be extra accommodating to people in all these different ways. Maybe they are like that, and maybe that is the motivation. Or maybe the motivation is that they just want to help people and they're nice. But it seems like you haven't fully realized that maybe you're a nice guy and you're just nice because you're nice, and you feel like you have to validate your niceness to yourself by like putting on a proper show for people at the parties. And you need to stop validating that, and just realize that just because you say you're nice and because you know you're nice, that means that you're nice and you're good, and that's it. There's plenty of people who are bad, and plenty of people who are bad who act like they're the fucking Queen of Sheba, And what about those people? Doesn't that piss you off that there's people who are assholes who act like they're fucking all cool? So that doesn't that give you the right to act like you're to kind of change your personality a little bit and not like be trying to please everybody, you know, and not and just sit there and be quiet and not try to, you know, like be the you know life of the party or whatever. Just be there and go there for yourself and look at people and be a people watcher and be quiet and if you want to say something, say it and but just stir it up here a little bit. It seems like you're kind of bored with yourself and the way that your personality is, so you need to change it a little bit. And changing your appearance could be a way. You know, there's different strategies. Another strategy is you could completely change up your appearance and grow a mohawk, and you know, and then people would treat you with like, oh my God, look at him, blah. And then you know, people who do talk to you would want to talk to you like they want to be your friend. People who don't talk to you don't stare you down. You know, that actually having a crazy look in that age group in high school, it actually people do treat you differently. Because I had the big old dreadlocks when I was in college, and people like I guess treat you with more respect. Like they don't like the people who do come up to you. They want to come up to you and talk to you because they want to be your friend, not because they just want to like have somebody to talk to. It's like your reputation precedes you, and then the people who don't talk to you, they don't really scowl at you or whatever. They're like kind of afraid of you. They like don't even look at you long enough to scowl at you. You know what I mean? You're kind of invisible. Sometimes black people complain of feeling invisible. Like nobody makes eye contact with them. And a lot of the time, that's because they're afraid of them. They think that they'll get their ass kicked, or they'll get targeted, or they'll just make them feel uncomfortable or something. And but that's kind of how looking all wacky when you're that age. People do that. It kind of makes you invisible in a way, ironically. But yeah, just stir it up, switch up your personality, and you need to figure out a way to decide for yourself that you're cool enough, and you don't have to change the way you act. You know, like these are two requests you've given me so far, suggesting that you feel like you're a person who needs to change the way you are. There's that girl who's telling you that you needed to act differently in order to get her, and you're all paying attention to her, and you're trying to get advice on how to act differently to some chick who seems to me like kind of an asshole. You know, like getting mean with you because you're not acting right. I mean, that's manipulative. That's not cool. I wouldn't want to hang with somebody like that. And now you're giving me a request like because you have social anxiety and you know, so you want to like know how to act. So instead of trying to figure out how to act, you need to figure out how to, you know, feel happy. So you should go to events. You know, people who are afraid of heights climb cliffs. If you're afraid of people, go to people where they are. But don't go there to meet people or to talk to people. Go there just to be with people and to watch people. You know, watching people can be fun. Get really high and just like watch people interact. You know, and if they notice you're watching them, you can as soon as they go to look at you, just look away. By the time they've made eye contact with you, you're already looking away. They don't know that you're looking at them. And just be there and just be Mr. Smug. You know, and you were talking before about the girl, how to get the girl. You know, I think girls like guys who are like that anyway. Guys who are super smug and like don't try to be people pleasers. It kind of gives off a vibe like a king, leader of the pack type of vibe or something, you know. So give that a try. And I would recommend to I mean, you know this girl more than I do, but I would recommend to steer clear of that girl you were talking about before, and become interested in a girl who's more laid back, who's not as manipulative, who's chill, who's more like you know, who will let you be who you are no matter who you are, and she likes you for that. Not likes that you like her and then wants you to manipulate you and to play games with you basically and play you like a marionette, you know. So that's basically my advice to you. Okay, peace out. Butting. Where's the button?